Good afternoon. My name is Catherine George Francisca from BSED English 3A, and I am about to tackle about the creative nonfiction. So let's start. So what is creative nonfiction? It is said that creative nonfiction is a genre of writing that combines factual accounts found in nonfiction with literary techniques found in fiction and poetry. In other words, it is true story with a touch of literary flair. So in simple terms, creative fiction, nonfiction is a type of writing that tell real stories or facts, but they uses storytelling techniques like vivid descriptions, dialogue, and even scenes to make it more engaging and interesting, just like a novel. It's true, but written in a creative and artistic way. So, an effective creative nonfiction story both informs and entertains its readers. So, there are four elements of creative nonfiction. Number one is scene setting. Number two, character development. Number three is the narrative. Number four is the subjectivity. So, we were going to unfold the meaning of these four. So, scene setting, the writer focused on the tangible details about time and place to immerse the readers in a scene. This can be achieved through literary devices such as imagery, simile, and metaphor. So, in simple terms, scene setting, it describes where and when the story happens. So, readers can imagine the place and time. The second one is the character development. Real people are fleshed out with backstories, mannerisms, and motivations, just like in real life. Some literary techniques that you might find in creative nonfiction are flashbacks, direct characterization, and dialogue. So character development, it creating and showing what a character is like, and also including their personality, feelings, and changes over time. And the next one is the narrative. Much like novels, creative nonfiction stories have a beginning, middle, and climax and end. The order in which these events unfold is the story's narrative. So the narrative is the story or the way the story is told, including what happens and how it's told. The next one is the subjectivity. So, in traditional nonfiction, the writer keeps a distance from the subject. But in creative nonfiction, the writer's perspective, emotions, and insights can be part of the story. This is particularly true of personal essays, which are often written from first-person point of view. So, the subjectivity, it's sharing of personal feelings, opinions, or thoughts rather than just facts. So, the next one is um, in structure. In terms of structure pala, creative nonfiction borrows elements from fiction such as chapters, acts, nonlinear timelines, and pacing. So, they say that writers shape events into stories in a way that flows naturally and keeps readers engaged from start to finish, but facts are still primary. So, there are four forms of creative nonfiction. So the number one is the memoir, number two is the personal essay, number three is literary journalism, and number four is the other forms just like travel writing, food writing, and oral histories. So what is a memoir? Memoir is a type of creative nonfiction in which the author writes about past experiences and events from their own life. Memoir are typically longer narratives that involve extensive reflection, character development, dialogue, and scene description. So, memoir is a true story about a person's own life experiences. So, the next one is the personal essay. So, the personal essay is a short prose composition in which the author explores a specific topic or experience or idea from their personal point of view. So, personal essay is short writing piece where someone shares their own thoughts or experience about a topic. So, events and topics are drawn from the author's life and can range from the absurd to the mundane and everyday. Next one is the literary journalism, also known as narrative journalism. Literary journalism combines factual reporting and research with vivid scenic description, character profiles, dramatic pacing, and rich sensory details. So in literary journalism, it is a type of writing that tells real stories like a novel using detailed descriptions and storytelling techniques. So literary journalism allows the journalist to abandon these structures to tell the story in the way they think will be the most compelling to readers. So some of the other forms are travel writing, food writing, and oral history. Sometimes these genres overlap, like in Elizabeth Gilbert's Eat, Pray, Love, travel writing, and memoir. So there are two forms, the travel writing and memoir. And the other one is My Life in France B, France by Julia Child. So it is a food writing, travel writing, and memoir. So they incorporate different types of forms in their um, creative nonfiction stories. So some of the examples of creative nonfiction is the Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. So this memoir chronicles a year that the author, Elizabeth Gilbert, spent traveling the world after a difficult divorce. She uses a three-part narrative structure based on the three different countries she visited that year. Through the events and characters are rooted in her experiences. So this memoir is her experiences, and then she incorporates some of the travel writing in in her narrative. Her use of non-traditional narrative structure, flashbacks, imagery, and first-person point of view make it a work of creative nonfiction. So the next one is Orchid Thief by Susan Orlean. So this work is a literary journalism that threads together three distinct storylines. So Orlean uses extensive research, interviews, character studies, and her own experiences. And then she breaks the story in three distinct threads and brings them together. So it is a memoir, it is also a literary journalism, and also a personal essay. So for the next one is the Irons in the Fire by John McPhee. To report Irons in the Fire, John McPhee traveled with the cattle brand inspector. So he traveled, so he incorporated travel writing, but it is also his interaction and conversation with people in the rural Nevada. So some memoir and personal essays, and also travel writing. So it's a factual, but he incorporates some other forms to make it more engaging to the readers. So in the other one is In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. So Truman Capote's famous work of creative nonfiction In a Cold Blood tells the true story of the murder of a Kansas farm family. That rather than simply presenting the facts gathered through police reports and interviews as a traditional journalist might, Capote shifts perspective and uses flashbacks to build up the lives of his subjects. So there are he uses flashbacks and the POV of the people involved in that murder. So it's a factual story, but he uses flashbacks to that, so it will be more engaging too. And the other one is They Can Kill Us Until They Kill Us by Hanif Abdurraqib. So what is this story? It's an essay titled It Rained in Ohio on the night Allen Iverson hit Michael Jordan with a crossover. So Hanif Abdurraqib recounts in granular detail a 3-second play during a basketball game The play did actually happen, but the insight he gleans from the language he uses splinter away from a straightforward play-to-play. So it is a true story, but then again, he uses some of other languages to or forms to incorporate in his story to make it more engaging and also worth reading. So that's all. Thank you.